Bro, have you seen the video of Nancy Pelosi's husband getting literally hammered by some random guy who was basically a burglar or something? I don't even know. Yeah, man, I actually saw it in the news, but that video raises so many questions. Like, first of all, why was he in his underwear? Why was he holding a drink? And why they were both laughing when the police came in? Like, they were like having a friendly banter or whatever. If he's a burglar, like, what the hell was going on in there? I don't know, bro. Maybe he was a member of his secret Telegram group where he was selling insider information or something. So maybe he decided to come and get his revenge. Oh man, I guess we'll never know. Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Dan, and in today's video we're gonna go over next week's analysis, where we're gonna cover technical and fundamental analysis for both stocks and also cryptocurrencies, and to see where we headed, what can we expect, etc, etc. So stay tuned through the whole video. There's a lot of interesting information and a lot of interesting reports coming next week, and without further ado, let's head to the PC. Alright guys, as always, we're gonna start with technical analysis for NASDAQ 100, because I trade NASDAQ 100 mostly. Sorry guys, futures I trade. And for you who want S&P 500 analysis, basically it's almost the same or similar. 80% of trading in the US has been done by algorithms and bots, so it's gonna be more or less the same. Let's get into it. So what happened, guys? I actually said in the last video that I will not expect for a price action to do this, boom, and actually it did it. Literally, we just skyrocketed all the way to EMA 50 on a weekly chart, okay? And look how we just almost touched it. We came to previous highs. We were hold on in this area at the moment. What do I expect to see from NASDAQ 100 or S&P 500 to do in the next week? For NASDAQ, we are at this crucial resistance area, and what do we need to do now is definitely I will expect some pullback, okay? How big of a pullback? I'm really not sure. I would like to see something like finally cool down all the way to this area over here, where we have the EMA 20 on a weekly chart, or even retest the EMA 200 at around 11,500, okay? If we don't do that, then I expect we break it, come back to retest the EMA 50 on a weekly chart, make it a support, and then continue all the way to around 13,000 on a weekly chart of NASDAQ. I'm very skeptical about this, guys, okay? So this move I'm very skeptical about. However, I will tell you what is the background and what are the supportive arguments for this move to happen, because there are some. So what I actually expect in reality is this: small pullback, let's say somewhere around this area, back to 11,600-700, maybe even 500, and then just go back, grind back all the way to EMA 50 again, around 12,300, and then of course continue bullish momentum all the way up, okay? So this is my current thinking, that we are really due for a pullback. Of course, as I've said, we might just continue the very strong and bullish momentum, break it, make it a support, boom, continue in a rising wedge. If we hold for long enough above all the three EMAs, and if we start ranging somewhere in this area, okay, that, ladies and gentlemen, could easily be a potential start of a bull market. Do I believe that we're in a bull market? I definitely do not believe we're in a bull market, definitely, because the interest rates are still high. We are still in the quantitative tightening phase. So the rates aren't even down, like the rates are still going up, and we're still increasing the rates. Currently, we're sitting at 4.5% of interest rates. The terminal predicts that we're going to end the year at about 5.25 at the peak of the interest rates. Are we gonna go there? I don't know. We're waiting now the FOMC that's gonna come out in Thursday, which I'm gonna talk about later on. But basically what I'm trying to say is we're still hiking the rates, and I really do not believe that we had an end to this bear market. If by any miracle we actually do start the bull market right now, That's going to be a very, very rare occasion, and that's gonna be like 1 in a million. So I really doubt that we're going to transition into a bull market just yet. Let's now see what the indicators are telling us. Do we have any kind of divergences? And yes, we do. Basically, I see on a weekly chart a hidden bearish divergence right over here. Both of the indicators are showing us the same thing. Even by the technicals, even by the indicator side on a weekly chart, they tell us, listen, the fall is coming. So I would expect some kind of a pullback happening soon, if it is to believe the indicators and the technical side. Let's now zoom in even further to see what the daily chart tells us. We broke the EMA 200 on a daily chart and we closed this week above it. Again, I repeat myself, I really expect that we're gonna go down. Let's say we end up somewhere over here at the 11,500 area, which is actually the EMA 200 on a weekly chart, bounce back off of it and then continue the bullish momentum to break it all the way with vigor, come retest, and then break above even higher. So that was it for NASDAQ 100. Let's move for Bitcoin. I'm not gonna zoom in into lower time frames because there's no much sense. Basically, the indicators are telling us all the same thing, that we should expect a pullback, right? So now for Bitcoin on a weekly chart, what do we see here? We literally just touched EMA 200 here on a weekly chart for Bitcoin. We're just fighting around this EMA and around the previous highs, which I actually said that we're gonna be struggling a bit. We had a small pullback, so if you had a short trade, congrats, but it wasn't a big one, it's actually a small one. And what would I expect now for Bitcoin? What we can easily do now is, without any major or big news, we can just keep on consolidating in this area. Like pull back, go up, pull back, range, like we can just range a bit. If we have some bigger news, we might retest the 25,000, okay, which is going to be the EMA 50 on a weekly chart for Bitcoin. And then if we don't manage to break it, we go back again in this range, and then finally maybe one more push back down to around 20,000. So it's going to be either a retest of a 20,000 or a test of 25,000. These are the two scenarios that I see: either a retest, push higher of a 25,000, then move down, or go down right away, retest 20,000 and then move higher. So these are the two opportunities that I see. And remember, if we don't break the EMA 200 the next time that we touch it, I would suggest you to go short. Take a small short position with a tight stop loss. If it retracts back to 20k, catch that wave, catch that really nice short, and then go long from 20 to maybe 25k. So now let's see if the indicators are actually telling us something on Bitcoin. And yes, we do have a beautiful hidden bearish divergence again on Bitcoin, same as for NASDAQ. Basically, indicators even on RSI and MACD for Bitcoin are telling us the same thing, which is expect small pullback. Last week, the pullback didn't really happen. To be honest, I was expecting much bigger pullback than this. But this next week, we have some big news incoming. And if those news aren't positive, we're going to end up in a big pullback, which is gonna drop us all the way to 20k. Let's see on a daily chart if anything interesting is happening. What do we see here? Actually, the daily chart on RSI is giving us divergence, okay? So MACD starts to pick up a bit as well, but RSI is already giving us bearish divergence, okay? Now let's quickly go over some reports that happened last week, and then we're going over to reports that will happen next week. So basically on Monday, Tuesday, nothing was happening. Wednesday, nothing was happening. And then finally Thursday, we had some very interesting reports on US markets, which was building permits, core durable goods order. I told you to look after those. GDP quarter 4, okay, the first report. There's 3 reports for GDP. And then we had initial jobless claims and new home sales. Then we had President Biden speak and the end of the night. So basically it was kind of packed, right? The reports that impacted the market the most were, of course, GDP and initial jobless claims. GDP came higher than expected, which is a good thing because it says that we're still not in a recession, the economy is still growing, even though it came less than the last quarter, which was 3.2%. It's still a good sign because we were expecting 2.6 percent growth on the US economy. So that was a good sign for the recession. Initial jobless claims, they were expected to be 205,000 or more. However, they came in at 186,000 jobless claims, which is actually really good for people because people aren't losing jobs, but it's actually really bad for us. Why? As I've said multiple times, so Fed literally wants people to lose jobs for them to say, okay, the labor market is not hot or tight or strong anymore, so they can finally pivot. The decision will be based on the market and jobless claims, how many people are filing for jobless claims, and always monitor job reports data whenever it comes out. It's going to be very important. Tuesday, nothing much, just consumer confidence. Then on Wednesday, we have interesting reports. ADP non-farm employment change. How many people got employed in non-farm sector, and if the number is higher than 170, that's bad for the economy, right? More jobs being created equals bad. Then we have ISM manufacturing PMI report, which we expect to be 48 JOLTS job openings. Okay, this is another job report that is showing us how many JOLT jobs have been created in the US. And again, same like every single job report, the only thing that you care is the numbers. There are many job openings for people. That is still not good sign for Fed, and they want to see the number higher. They want this number to grow. They want people not to get employed. So that's actually the logic that they're using to determine their next move, right? Now, the final and the most important thing on Thursday is going to be the FOMC statement and Federal Reserve interest rate decision. Okay, we are now sitting at 4.5%. Everybody is expecting 25 basis point increase in the rate hikes, which will bring us at 4.75% of rate hikes, which is very close to that final terminal rate of 5.25, which means that's either one big rate of 50 points, or that is two small rates of 25-point increase. What the Fed will say in this meeting is crucial, and you need to listen carefully what are they saying. If they indicate that they're gonna stop, or they're gonna pause, or they're gonna continue climbing and continue increasing the interest rates, this is all that matters. Pay attention to this, because if they say that the end terminal rate might end up higher than 5.25, the market will collapse. I mean, it will go down, okay? Like, it's going to be a really bad and red day for us. But if they say, yes, we still keep the 5.25, we're gonna do it in small increments of 25 basis points, we might make a break in the meantime, see how the economy will do in the next couple of months, how the CPI report and PCE report will show. They will then look for clues, and they will then give a final solution to us. However, what I want you to pay attention to is this. When they start saying they're gonna mention job and labor market, and definitely Powell will go and emphasize again that the job market is too strong, and he will definitely say that they're not ready to cut rates yet, and he will then reiterate that they will still hold the interest rates high throughout the whole year, and they will not pivot before 2024, which might take us into recession, which might end up destroying a lot of companies. But what to do? Their end goal is to tame the inflation to back to 2%. In my personal opinion, I think the inflation will go down to 2% fairly quickly now if we don't get any crazy happenings in the world. So unless he's very bearishly strict and adamant in his speech, the market will not react bearish. The market will just go bullish. So he needs to be very rough, and he needs to be to the point in order for market again to understand the situation, and in order for market to fall down. Anyway, Thursday then we have initial jobless claims, again jobs data. You want to see more jobs being lost, unfortunately, than 200,000. If it's less, of course, not a good sign. And that will be it. For Friday, you have non-farm payrolls, again, job data. Basically, this whole next week is just job data reports, which you need to pay attention to, because all these reports will impact and determine the fate of both stock market and Bitcoin. And these are the events that I was telling you guys that can determine, are we going to push higher, break all these EMAs, because look, technicals are technicals, right? They cannot measure with fundamentals. Fundamentals are there to tell you the way. The macroeconomic environment is decided by Federal Reserve, governments, etc. So if they give good news, and if they say that we should be going bullish, everybody's gonna go bullish. End of story. No matter what the technicals tell you, no matter what the hidden bearish divergence tells you, whatever. Yes, they are good. You should follow them as a day trader. However, don't hold them as your holy book, because they are not one. Okay. So then let's move on to the unemployment rate. We want to see it, of course, higher. Again, unemployment is good. Unemployment is great. That's bullish for us. That's bullish for stocks. You're gonna make more money. So make your friends lose their job in 2023. Just kidding, guys, of course. Let's go on to ISM non-manufacturing PMI. Again, it's a PMI report. You want to see it higher than 50.3, which would tell us that the economy is doing good, right? And that was about it. Now let us move on to earnings calendar. Okay, what are some of the interesting earnings next week happening? Monday, nothing interesting, at least for me. Tuesday, we have some big companies like Exxon, Pfizer, McDonald's, UPS, Caterpillar, AMD. That's going to be affecting NASDAQ, etc. Now, Wednesday, Meta or Facebook is going to be reporting their earnings report after close. Pay attention to that one. It's going to affect a lot the markets. Same like Tesla and Microsoft did in the last week. T-Mobile, Sony Group, etc. Thursday, huge day. Okay, so Thursday is a really big day. Apple, Google, Amazon, all of them after closing. Okay, so they will definitely impact the market. Pay close attention to how they're gonna report their earnings. Is it gonna be good or bad? And then on Friday, again, nothing much, nothing crazy, so we move on. Let's cover some news now, and we're gonna start with some stock market news. Adani shares plunge further as it weighs legal action against short seller firm. Short seller firm, if you're not familiar, is a Heidelberg firm who actually said about Adani that their group engaged in a brazen stock manipulation and accounting fraud scheme over the course of decades. If you don't know who this man is, this is a chairman of and founder of the Adani Group, Gautam Adani. He was estimated with 130 billion fortune according to Bloomberg Billionaire Index. He's basically an Indian billionaire, and his fortune skyrocketed throughout the COVID because he has multiple energy companies, railways, airlines. I don't know what else he has. He has like a lot of things, right? This guy is super rich, super branched, so to say, in India. And they actually tie him with the government in India very closely, basically saying, oh, that he's paying them. Oh, what a surprise! Somebody's paying the government. Corruption. Oh, wow! Is that happening? Is that possible? Of course, it's possible. Of course, most probably it's true, right? Not only in India, but everywhere in the world. Like every single government has some donors, whatever. You look at the US and look at the Sam Bankman-Fried and what happened. Look at the George Soros or whatever, all these guys. So, of course, every single government has their own donors. This guy is apparently one of those. And he's been suing the Heidelberg. They're basically a famous short-selling company that goes and does these researches about sketchy Ponzi scheme companies, etc. And then they take big short positions. And of course, they've been then sued by Gautam Adani and their company. We're yet to see the development of this. Yeah, their stock plunged quite a while. It's now down, I think, 18% as we speak. So let's see what they're gonna find out. We're gonna be seeing more of these things in the news in the upcoming days, and we'll definitely going to have some reflection on it, so we'll stay tuned. Now, the next title, this is a very important one. Cramer's week ahead. Okay, so Jim Cramer, right? Fed decision on Wednesday could let the bulls party on. Guys, that's it. Sell absolutely everything that you have and go short position. Sell everything. If you need to sell your house, just go short. When Jim Cramer tells you to go long, you go short. All in 100%, 200%. You take a debt, you take a loan, whatever it takes, you go against Jim Cramer, because that's how you win and that's how you make money. I'm joking, guys, of course. Don't take a loan, don't take me seriously, and don't sell your house. But don't listen to Cramer. This guy has been changing his opinion every single day, 10 times a day, whatever. So whatever he tells you, just do the opposite, you'll profit. If you think that you're a bad trader, just follow him. and do the opposite of what he says, okay? So now we move on to some crypto news. State senator pushes bill to make Bitcoin legal tender in Arizona. Good news coming from the US. Bitcoin is getting more and more traction, more and more movement around the world. Governments like El Salvador now, we saw Switzerland and whatever. A lot of countries now are just getting involved in getting Bitcoin introduced to different spheres, make it a legal payment tender in a lot of spheres of their everyday life. These kind of news are good for Bitcoin. Like if the state senator pushes bill to make Bitcoin legal tender, I mean, if it's a scam, this would never happen, okay? If it's a crypto scam, Ponzi scheme or whatever, these kind of things will never happen. Whoever tells you crypto is a scam, just don't listen to them. Invest in crypto. This is the future. We're still early. If crypto gets adopted, we're gonna go off scales, off the charts. Of course, then you need to know which coins are good, because there will be altcoins that are going to pump hard. In the future, I'm gonna go over some reviews of altcoins as well, so stay tuned for that. Stick to Bitcoin, Ethereum, main coins, some coins that have a real life utility, and you're not gonna go wrong. Total crypto market cap rises above 1 trillion, and data suggests more upside in the store. So now we're seeing finally crypto market reclaiming that 1 trillion market cap. So, and they say that we still have some momentum in store to go push higher. I agree with that. However, again, I reiterate, I do expect a small pullback and then continuation of the bullish momentum. And then we mentioned Genesis Global, capital bankruptcy, Grayscale, DCG, arrest warrant for BitHump exchange owner Kang Jong-hyun, and etc. And then we have leverage demand slightly favors bulls. Perpetual contracts, also known as inverse swaps, have an embedded rate usually charged every 8 hours. Exchanges use this fee to avoid exchange risk imbalances. A positive funding rate indicates that longer or buyers demand more leverage. However, the opposite situation occurs where shorts or the sellers require additional leverage, causing the funding rate to turn negative. Options put call ratio shows no signs of fear. Derivatives market point to the further upside potential, etc, etc. So I'm not gonna just bother you with these technicals too much. However, the point of the story is that we have a momentum, we're maintaining it slowly. The adoption is happening. Do not miss it, okay? Do your own diligence, do your own research before invest any money, but do not miss this opportunity. Did we have bottom? No, I do not think that we had a bottom. We might have a new bottom within the next 6 to 8 months. Is that going to happen for 100%? No, I don't know. We might pump now for a period of time and then just go back lower to the previous lows, retest them and bounce back higher. We might never see Bitcoin lower than whatever 15, 16K. We might never see it in that range again, okay? You might never see Ethereum at 800-900 that it was. You might never see some other coins at some different prices, but the point is, don't wait for it. The best strategy that you could use is just DCA or dollar cost average on a weekly, monthly basis, whatever it is easier for you, whenever you have some spare money. Okay, spare money is very important, and that's about it. You're never going to miss the bottom. I'm telling you at the moment, my opinion again is that we're in a bull trap and we're not going to be going into a bull market anytime soon. However, yes, there will be plenty of opportunities for buying and plenty of opportunities of taking profits, and I do suggest you, if you have some nice profits, again, take 10%, take 15%, whatever it is. If you made some money, don't leave it on the exchanges, don't leave it to them. So guys, that will be all for today. I hope you liked the video. So just a small recap, I believe that we're going to have a small pullback on both NASDAQ and Bitcoin, unless Thursday FOMC statement comes very bullish. If it does, we're gonna pump regardless of any indicator, regardless of anything, and we might have an extended bull market rally, which could then later turn into a big consolidation, okay, for both markets, both crypto and the traditional stock market. And then after this big consolidation throughout the whole year, it can actually last throughout the whole year, then finally when the pivot happens, maybe a market bottoms, we're gonna have this boom off to the next bull market, which everybody is expecting in 2024, let's say Q1 or Q2, whatever it happens, and then we're not gonna stop. We're gonna make so much money, and I can't wait for it. So thank you so much for watching. I wish you a good night, and I'll see you in the next one.